Oh, there we go.
Interesting.
There we go. I just invited you to
Hey,
speak.
there he is.
How you doing?
Now he's muted and he's got to get onto speaker probably.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm just getting logged in now. I had a little technical difficulties there. I tried on the phone. I usually feel like I sound better on the iPhone, and for some reason the AMA stage was not popping up. I don't know if it was just being a little buggy on me, but happy to be here now. Sorry about the delay.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, all
Glad
good.
to have you. But I was just telling Monkey here that we usually try to add on some interactive, fun, and different questions than a typical AMA, to make us really stand out and make it more, or not more of an entertaining aspect, but mix in some more entertaining aspects. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a set of 10 rapid fire questions. So are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do
Uh,
it.
yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. So I just actually opened it up to the public now. So if you go up to the AMA polls question, everybody can vote on what they think, or what their opinion is. So it's a community engagement activity as well. So if you guys are interested, head on over to the AMA polls question channel. But the first question is TikTok or YouTube Shorts?
YouTube Shorts. Never use
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah. I hate TikTok. I'll be honest.
I've never tried it.
I've never tried it either, but it looks like the community fully agrees. It's 0 votes for TikTok and 4 for YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, my girlfriend likes TikTok, but fuck that shit.
All right, city life or country life?
Yeah, see, this
For
is funny.
rapid fire, I'll go country life.
It's funny because I live in country, but I'm a city guy.
Okay,
A little
interesting.
bit better.
Interesting. All right, books or videos?
Videos,
Videos, yeah.
pretty easy for that one.
Yeah, everybody agrees. So far, it's been all or nothing for all of the questions.
This
Oh
next one.
man, I can't believe you did this to us. We had such great conversations. I'm reading this next one ahead.
This is tough.
David or
Uh,
Eric?
oh man, how can you decide
I
that?
I personally
They're
got to
both
give it
so
to Eric.
wonderful. I
Yeah,
have I
I
have a
personally
bond with Eric too. David is gonna hate me, but I had so much fun with him in our Twitter spaces. But
yeah, we
I've been
did.
talking to Eric for many months now, and I consider my relationship with him to be really, really strong.
Yeah, he
Gotcha.
helped us quite a bit.
All right. Yeah, no, that's good. I always like to throw in a fun question like that that catches
Yeah.
people off guard.
That's a toughie.
All right, pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Oh, waffles.
Yeah,
Now
it's
we
easy.
got to give a reason why, because they're basically the same thing. But I would agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the way like the butter and the syrup gets in those little squares. It's really I don't know. It's something about the waffle that does it for me.
Yeah, I think
These are good questions.
you accidentally put too much butter on a waffle just because it like sinks into the grooves, and then it just gets really good.
Who said it's an accident?
I mean, hey,
It's a
that's true. That's true.
it's a happy accident. It's all good.
All right, which chain is most likely to fall off, Phantom or Chronos?
And this one's
Oh,
tough.
yeah,
I
that's
think
uh,
I think people are gonna not so much like my opinion on this, but I'm gonna say Phantom.
yeah, me too. Yeah, there's gonna be some disagreement there. But I really
Yeah,
think Kronos is on the up and up. We've been making a lot of new friends on Kronos. Um, and we have a lot of old friends on Phantom. So I think that's what kind of guides my decision there. Hopefully they both
yeah.
succeed.
It's definitely more of a biased opinion. Definitely a personal bias on that one. We have a lot of friends on Kronos.
All right, yeah, interesting take. I'm pretty indifferent to both of them. I don't really have a significant opinion on either one. But yeah, it's interesting to hear that. And then next question. It looks like we got a bunch of DGens in the audience today. All going eights, nines, and tens for what is your risk tolerance on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh,
Uh, Ours
for
is
me now, it's like a 3 or a 4. I
yup.
I don't even really trade anymore. I used to hang out with you guys up in those 8 and 9 ranges,
Yeah.
but it's gone a lot lower. Even
I'll
not
d
just over the last couple years, but the last couple months.
Yeah, I'll say 4 months ago probably would be easily like a 9 or a 10, but right now it's probably like a 2 or a 3. It's
All right.
definitely changed quite heavily.
Got it. Yeah, I would say, at least right now, I'm probably more of the 5 to 6 range, maybe even a 4. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, on where. It's a very subjective question, I guess, is what I'm getting to.
Yeah, that line can be drawn in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's relevant.
Gold or silver as an investment slash store of value?
Wow. And
This
technically, those are like two questions because investment and store of value are slightly different things. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go with gold. I will,
I
we can talk about the arguments for both, but I'm gonna go gold.
I agree on that.
All right. Well, I would hope so because you guys run Goldman Finance. So.
That doesn't mean we don't like other commodities though. You know, we'll definitely talk about that later though. We'll bring that up
Okay.
later.
Yeah, sounds good. Second to last question: morning bird or night owl?
Seems
I'm
so far
definitely
been.
a morning bird.
Oh wow, I'm a night owl. I hate the mornings.
All right.
Move
Yeah.
forces me to get up though in the morning for the morning meeting though, so turned me into a morning bird, I guess.
All right. I'd have to agree with you though. I'm a night owl by choice, but you got to wake up for some things.
I
Exactly.
like the morning.
Last question is Netflix or Hulu?
I'll just say neither, man. I'll say all the streaming services suck balls recently. Like they're terrible. Netflix has been trash. Everything's been trash.
Yeah, I
This is-
guess I watch more Netflix, but you'll catch me more often YouTubing a documentary or, reading up on something okay, than doing either of those. But a show every once in a while when you're falling asleep. I guess if I have to choose one, I'll say Netflix.
yeah, I
All
could
right.
also agree with that.
How
Like
about this?
90%.
How about this? If
What's
you had to choose one, you could not watch the other ever again. Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, easily YouTube.
Yeah, I
That's
would
like
watch YouTube and give up Netflix
hands down.
tomorrow.
I
Okay.
could probably I could probably stream Netflix on YouTube. Probably just look it up,
It's not
find
supposed to be
something.
any workarounds, so you're probably right.
Yeah, YouTube's
That
got it
was
all.
fun. I like that. I haven't done, something like that to get started. That's better than the introduction, get
Oh
to
yeah,
know
that
each
was
other a little
cool.
bit.
It was
Yeah.
funny to see like the community especially like essentially agreeing I guess on pretty much everything like except one or two things. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely interesting. Vu, you got outvoted for being a morning person. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you guys are missing out. That's when I get to do my best work because nobody bothers me. Nobody else is up yet. Nobody's calling. I'm US East Coast, so like even if I was a morning bird on in California or something, it would be there'd still be people up ringing me. But I like that time, man. That's when I do my best thinking.
Yeah, see it's literally that I'm PST, so my early is your fucking afternoon, so it doesn't work out great.
Cool. Glad you guys got to know us a little bit that way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely interesting. But yeah, now that we got that done, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what Goldman is aiming to do.
Yeah, just do a
Yeah,
quick introduction. I don't know if Monkey got to do one before I hopped in, but I'm Vu. I'm the founder of Goldman Finance, and I've been hanging out in the blockchain space and a little bit of DeFi and DAO stuff for probably the last like 5 years, maybe even going on a little bit longer. But this is the first protocol that I've run. I tell a lot of people the first time I ever noticed Bitcoin was probably about 6 years ago when it passed the price of an ounce of gold. I had seen it on like CNBC or something like that on financial news, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy!" That online, form of currency. I think they were both around $1,300 at the time. Um, for what it's worth, they were both good investments. But that might give you a little bit of insight on how I became who I am today. It was something I always paid attention to was gold and the value there, and blockchain caught my eye when I realized that there was the same kind of value in these markets. And we'll get to what Goldman is in a little bit and how we brought the two together. But got my main operations guy Monkey here as well.
Yeah, hey, I'm Monkey. I've been, I guess, I've been in finances, I guess, for like 2 years, but it was about a year ago I got into like crypto and DeFi after just learning everything was pretty broken. So, yeah, I thought the technology was super interesting and something to get into, especially while it's still new and while I'm young. So, yeah, brought me into DeFi and started kind of aping in and being a degen for a while before thinking like, damn, I should start running something or become part of a protocol or help out. And then, yeah, luckily I found Vu and got the opportunity, and we've been working together since.
That how you came up with the name Monkey?
Nah, I've actually, this is a little funny story. I've actually been calling myself Monkey for probably like 2 or 3 years. I have two banana tattoos. One's like probably like 4 inches or 5 inches long or something like that. Nice banana.
All
When
right,
did I do that?
I did not expect that backstory. I'll be honest.
Yeah. True
Interesting.
ape. Even before crypto, even before the aping, I was an ape.
All right, interesting. But yeah, tell us a little bit about what
Yeah.
Goldman does now.
Yeah, so what do we do? We run Goldman Finance. So most of you guys are going to be familiar with senior age protocols and Tomb Fork. So I'll kind of assume that basic knowledge. Forgive me if I shouldn't. But we use the model with elastic supply. We issue a token called Goldman, and it is pegged to the price of Paxfy. And Paxfy is a very special token. Some of you guys probably know what it is. I'm sure some of you guys don't, but it is a token that is physically backed by an ounce of gold. Each token issued is backed by an ounce of gold in a vault in London by Paxos, the parent company. They have Paxfy and a Pax dollar actually as well. Um, and something about that really resonated with me when I got into senior and style protocols and believing in elastic like Ohm and Ohm forks and rebase tokens, and then moving on to the senior age tokens that kind of had that not infinite supply and the supply and demand control mechanism that really caught my attention as something valuable in DeFi and something that could be used in a good way. I know there are some protocols out there really in it for the long haul, but there really is something impressive to the underlying performance of a tune fork, and we wanted to utilize that for something special. And I have to admit, the idea was almost out there. I think even in Tomb's core docs, they had an example explaining how Tomb was a mirrored asset for Phantom, and that you could imagine that in real life there might need to be some sort of mirrored asset for gold, and how it would be convenient to have something like that. And I started thinking, we should really look at doing this with this model. It's a very ambitious goal. I mean, it's a lot easier to convince the community to peg a token to a token that's 20 cents or $1, even 15 or $20. But you start to set a really high bar. I think an ounce of gold right now is in the range to over $1,700. So you start to set a really high bar when you try to seek that type of peg. So we decided to do it on the Ethereum network where PaxG lives. That's where the PaxG token lives to kind of build our foundation. And we're really just in those steps. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but we have 2 years of share token emission is the reward tokens for our system. And we'll talk to you guys in a little bit about why we have a lot more than 2 years of share token emissions. But we started off right off the bat by doubling the length of this protocol compared to a standard Tomb fork. Now that gave us lower APR. Our participants don't get the same sky high APR that's available at other forks, but it also gave us sustainability and a longer runway. We're 3.5 going on 4 months in now. And instead of being a third through our life, we're barely over an eighth of the way through our initial share token emissions. So that's kind of what we tried to put together. And I'll expand out a little bit more, but I don't want to go too long in one string. But that's Goldman Finance and what we're trying to do.
Got it. Yeah. No, that's I think a good starting point for sure. So being pegged to the price of gold algorithmically, that's obviously something that isn't exactly easy to do, like you said. Is there anything that you guys are specifically doing differently on the back end side of things that makes you really stick out compared to other tomb related projects?
Yeah,
Yes, a hundred
definitely.
percent.
There's a lot of things. Monkey, I'm going to let you touch on a lot of the mechanics. I'm going to jump in a wee little bit on the DAO because my
Go for it.
co-founder, Doc, kind of manages our DAO. And that's a big part of it that I think is overlooked. When you participate in a lot of tomb forks, the money typically goes to the DAO and they never talk about that DAO again. Our DAO is activated and it works in an aggressive capacity, to support our protocol. So constantly reinvesting and redonating any earnings or yield or revenue that it's able to generate to support the protocol and to support the pay. But its purpose is a lot greater than that, not just to help out, but we actually have a plan for sustained emissions. And that's one of the things that I think really differentiates us by eventually replacing that share reward token with a dividend style token emitted by the DAO. We have the only DAO in blockchain right now whose purpose is to acquire synthetic gold. I'm almost gonna repeat that. The only DAO in blockchain who exists for the purpose of acquiring synthetic gold tokens, meaning PAXG or tokens that have gold backing. And we plan on using that strategically for this community to continue to grow those holdings and then also to seek yield, working with other reputable protocols, doing safe, stable token staking and things like that, so that that DAO can continue to grow its gold holdings but then also issue back to the community a dividend style token that's backed by those gold holdings to continue to keep people farming and providing LP into the future after the 2 years is up. And Monkey might be able to add the features that we've built out on top of a standard tomb fork to kind of help us on this mission.
Yeah, definitely. We've right away we knew that we weren't just gonna be a base model seniorage protocol because there's definitely a lot more that you can build off and accomplish by continuing to build. That's the whole, like, I guess one of the reasons with Tomb Finance, like the OG, they kind of stopped building. Like they just thought like, yeah, we'll just let this run, pump money into it and let it do its thing. And then like now getting close to emissions, they're almost scrambling to come up with a good idea to keep everything running healthy. So right away we knew that we were going to continue to build and grow because we have 2 years of emissions. We're the first and only protocol to set that amount of time. So yeah, first we decided we were going to try and implement nodes like a lot of other popular protocols, but we decided to do them a little bit differently and not with the same Ponzonomics that a lot of others have with the 250 or 500% ROI. We set it so that it was only a 144% over 90 days, I believe. And then as well, we have just dropped NFTs and we're doing an NFT mint, which is actually live right now. And we're going to be doing the reveal later today on that. And that's going to incorporate in some later features that we'll probably discuss on a little bit. But one of the main focuses is there's going to be a separate staking pool for NFTs. And the NFTs are actually going to have gold mint tokens within them that you can claim. So you can choose to claim the gold mint from them or not. And each NFT, there's 70. They'll have different rarities, and each rarity based on the rarity will have more or less gold mint. And so yeah, if that gold mint still has the tokens in it unclaimed, you'll be able to stake it in a separate pool, essentially like another vault pool to earn a set of share emissions. So yeah, it's a nice fun way to help participate as well as bring more future use cases down the line. Another big thing that we've done that we, I guess, set out almost right away as what we wanted to achieve and do was secure a partnership with Olympus DAO. And so we did that by acquiring an Olympus Pro bonding contract. And so they created a OP bond contract for our bond token. And so we were the first and only protocol to offer a different means of entry and more utility for the bond token in the seniorage protocol. A lot of others, they kind of forget about it or don't really utilize it as much. It's just kind of sitting there in the background. But we have a single staking pool in our vaults for bond tokens. And then as well, we allowed to create nodes, a few nodes of bond tokens. It was just a small amount. And yeah, so we've gotten quite a few innovations and we're continuing to grow, continuing to build. We have a lot of other fun things coming out. We'll probably be dropping some alpha pretty soon about some of the future releases as well and things that we've been thinking about in the back end.
Got it. I mean, if you want to, you could drop that now. We
What do
like
you think?
alpha.
What do you
Start
think,
to
Vu?
talk forward a little bit. And I think there's some stuff that's also on the gray alpha line. One thing that you hinted at earlier that I think we should jump on is the gold and silver question. Because
Yeah.
that is absolutely one of the next things we're working on. Because of the step we're at, I can't say that we're partnering with Chainlink yet, but I can say that we are working on the back end on integrating with Chainlink to call a silver feed. If you start to imagine what we can do with having a gold peg token, possibly making it available to L2 networks and things like that. There's a lot we can do there, but there's more than just gold peg tokens that people might have interest, in on the blockchain. We see this as really the first example of choosing a peg that kind of represents a real world asset. So even though we have a token for NFT, we are looking at working on contracts that can call real world data feeds securely. So we can start to peg to non tokens. You know what I mean? You can imagine a situation where you could pegged to the price of like the standard Toyota pickup truck or something like, you can, it doesn't even have to be a metal. So that's one of the major routes we're going. And the first one we're working on and looking at is silver mint. So that's why you might have got us caught up there a little bit because we see a lot of value to making something that's a little bit more in route. Like we said, from Ethereum, we do plan on going to L2s. I think we have a lot of friends on AVAX or Binance Smart Chain, Protos, even Phantom. Where we love you guys too. That would appreciate having a token that had a peg that was a valuable asset in the real world, but maybe wasn't as expensive as gold. Maybe that entry point is a little bit high for them. We are cutting out right now. If anyone does, want to take advantage of that opportunity. But if that token value is a little bit high, we want to put something out there that's a little bit more tangible, usable in the day to day. And Silvermint's probably going to be the next innovation on that front.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at, other commodities and different ideas and how we can really utilize a new Oracle contract, and how even other people, communities, projects, they might want to use that themselves, because it'll be able to call actual real world data feeds instead of calling a token pair price. So yeah, that one's pretty cool, but it's definitely going to take just a little bit to fully get the development. But a little bit of details on that. Silvermint will not be another protocol. It will be a part of Goldmint itself. Goldmint will be essentially like the mother of everything, the mother protocol, and it will house Silvermint. So you'll be able to participate in a genesis essentially to earn Silvermint, but it's going to be very limited to the protocol, so that you're not going to be able to stake just like stables to earn the silver token, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be staking like Goldmint Pax G LP, as well as needing a whitelist to be able to stake. So it'll be really for the community and those who are for, the long-term commitment, and I guess the gold hands, as we call them. So yeah, we've been working on the back end to fully figure out the details on everything. And yeah, so Silvermint will be another peg in the ecosystem. So the share tokens are definitely going to be really, really useful for that, if we're going to be, printing silver as well as maybe other commodities down the line.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of different things that you can expand that to, especially being tied to gold. Like you can expand to like silver, like you said, or like copper, or other precious metals or commodities, or even
Yeah.
like Vu said, a standard pickup truck. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah, it's
opportunities.
goofy, but you can start to see what this model might be able to do. Maybe we have something more special than we realize with algorithmically stabilized seniorage protocol. What we are is DeFi to find out. We're having a lot of fun doing it. I see some of our core community here. We do have a good time in our server. We had setting such a crazy goal. I don't know how many of you guys would know this, but we came out of Genesis at 0.01 pay. So if you can wonder, some of you guys might be looking like, hey, how can they be happy if they're only a third of the way to their goal? We all had a $10 token when we came out of Genesis. So we've been steadily working on the up and up, growing our system and just having a token on the blockchain that's able to hold even a portion of that value. Now we just see our mission is continuing to do what we're supposed to do: grow out the system, improve the value of the shares, come up with more gains and utility in other aspects of it, increase the demand and reduce the supply via the bonding mechanisms. And we trust that the system will do what it's supposed to do over time. And we think we gave ourselves ample time to succeed at our goal.
Yeah, like definitely. I always say it that I'm super happy that we gave ourselves 2 years because other protocols that would be 3 months in would be a quarter way through, and it's like okay, now you have only 3 more quarters to figure out what are you going to do to after emissions or what are you going to do to continue to bring value. But that's something we sat down and thought about right before even launching was what is going to be the end goal, how much time are we going to have, we're going to continue to build and do everything. And so that's why the DAO is really important in its mission and providing back to stakers at the end of the 2 years emissions, and continuing to acquire gold as well as other yield bearing assets, essentially growing and growing and growing. Like I don't know, a lot of people may know like Ohm's treasury, but it's like a 400 million or $300 million treasury that it's only a year old and they've grown it exponentially. It's insane. So that's definitely something we idolize and look up to for our DAO, is to continue to grow its holdings and utilize it to give back to the community as well.
Yeah, and then kind of touching up on that topic of emissions, I remember like 6 months ago, back in the peak of node season, when people were flexing their 3 month emissions or 6 month emissions, and then it's like you only are thinking
Yeah.
6 months ahead. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
definitely.
shocking what's become a acceptable enough long-term standard. If my protocol that I'm participating in can make it at least 6 months, I'm happy. And that sounds to me a little crazy. And I'm hoping for a world in DeFi where we are kind of moving towards a more sustainable model. And I definitely have seen some improvements. I mean, when we were working on the planning for Goldman Finance, it was a rough time in senior agent algo stables. There were some really bad protocol, boob finance and stuff rolling out. I mean, it was getting pretty silly. So it is
Wait, you
good
didn't
to see
like that one?
some help coming back into the space.
You telling me you don't like that one? I thought that was like the best
I hope,
project
are they
ever.
still live? Is this like a good protocol? I just assumed it fell apart after its first week.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard of it.
There's a pretty bad rep. Even like I think it was a couple weeks before we launched, there was one that dropped like on it. We thought we were going to be the first and like only seniorage protocol on Ethereum, but somebody launched like right before us, and it was like Bored Ape Farm Club. So it was BEFC, and it was a seniorage protocol, and it was just a total scam, like total pump and dump. Like it died after 1 week after Genesis or something like that. It was just ridiculous. So it just gave like such a bad image, kind of. It was a little bit rough, and even right now you can kind of see a little bit there's been a I don't know, backlash, I guess, for seniorage protocols. They've been kind of falling up and down a little bit, but we still believe in the whole idea and how it'll work out, and we're happy that we have a long time to continue to grow.
Got it. Yeah, and then I'm gonna ask one last question, and then we can move into some of the community questions as well. Um,
Perfect.
but just one thing that I really, really look at when looking into projects is their revenue streams. Like, what are they doing to help support their mission or their APY or whatever they're doing within their protocol? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have revenue streams, then it kind of is Ponzonomics without intentionally being Ponzonomics, if that makes sense. Like, even Bitcoin
Yeah.
itself, some people argue that's a Ponzi scheme. And I guess what I'm getting at is like what just like lay out your revenue streams very simply so that we can kind of get an understanding of where all of that is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess right now at the moment is our
You're cutting out a little bit, Vert.
Bond Gold Mint program through Olympus Pro. That is a system where people come onto our site and give us a stable coin. This may upset some people, but I do not consider receiving my own token revenue because we're not in the business of selling Gold Mint or Gold Mint share tokens. So we only consider something to be revenue if it's a stable coin, which we can use for salaries or things like that. So our primary revenue model, this is a great question. Everyone should be writing this down and looking at this everywhere because it's something that we are struggling with. We want to continue to increase our revenue so we can continue to fund better development. We have other ideas we like to bring in. We've brought in a couple contractors so far in development for our NFTs. We have a new beta UI that's out that's going to be turning into those revenues. But right now, what is the one gold net sales through Olympus Pro? I guess our secondary one recently would have been Liquid Capital. I mean, you guys are familiar with Liquid Capital. We're one of the top 10 liquid capital partners for pre-sale tokens that they had then donation back to the protocol. So that gave us some revenue. Um, we also look at revenue in like taxing models during Genesis. So with the Silverman coming up, the second time that we've had a Genesis pool, in which there'll be a small tax on, and that could bring in a little bit of revenue during Genesis. And then most of the other ones, we have to tell you the truth or future. I can tell you, I've been looking at. I probably shouldn't say this, but like better blockchain 3D environment there. We've been starting to look to see, if there's some other protocols, uh, that could do well, building some games and doing some things like that together. I find that games can have some revenue. So that's one that we're looking at going forward. But that's a little bit about how we make money to pay our team. If someone doesn't have revenue, that's when you start to fear like a Titan and Orbital situation where like they're just selling tokens to generate the money. Especially if they didn't have a pre-sale. I mean, we are Genesis launched, which means we just drop these to the world based on how they think. That nobody gives us a bunch of money at the beginning to get our tokens. They're freely released to the world. The ecosystem issues the very first token. We don't start with them and then sell them off to people. Those revenues are fun, and we're constantly trying to grow them.
Got it. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I think, like you said, just continuing to expand the ecosystem, expand those revenues coming in, instead of dumping tokens on people, like that's always probably the better way to go than
Oh, it terrifies me when I see people say
Yeah.
revenues, or they'll say like their DAO's ready to go to support the protocol. It has 1,000 of their base peg tokens. How can you use that? You don't have money to pair against it for liquidity. You'd have to sell half the tokens. You can't sell the tokens for funding or whatever. If you pay people and vendors and stuff all in your team tokens, they're going to sell on you. We've made that mistake once or twice ourselves. So it is very very important to no matter how small and no matter how hard you have to fight for it. It's like being a small business. We do try to bring in as much revenue as we can. Um, to avoid being in that type of situation. And we've succeeded so far. I have not had to sell a single token, as a founder or my co-founder. We've been over 4 months since we launched, just about 4 months.
got it. Yeah, that's good to hear. So we got some really good community questions so far. We it's always
There's
amazing
tons.
how much chatter there is in this questions channel. Like there's probably been like over
Yeah.
100 messages already. But the
Oh
the
wow.
first question I would like to ask is from Lettuce. He asks, "Can you explain how gold is also a hedge against inflation?"
Yes,
It's a great question.
absolutely. So
It's fantastic.
maybe, yeah, that's a great question. And I know Lat as well. He's an awesome participant in our community. So one of the reasons we picked PAX G and PAX Gold is and PAX, gold as that type of peg is because I have faith in gold. I think it is an excellent store of value. Even one of the first questions asked us in that rapid fire, well, gold or silver is an investment in store of value. So we all think of gold highly in that regard. But we watch the news every day and hear about inflation with centralized currencies and various developed nations just printing and printing and printing um, excess currency and devaluing and runaway inflation. Someone had asked me before, he said, why didn't you peg to a stable coin? I said, I thought I picked the most stable coin I could find in the world. I consider the guaranteed price of an ounce of gold maybe a more stable investment than holding that value in, I don't want to single out, USD or euro or yen or, whatever your choice of currency might be. So I do see gold as a very special choice for a stable store of value, and I do see it as better than what other people will pick as the answer, being a US dollar tether or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Say that gold is definitely, over time you can see that prices essentially only gone up, which it doesn't really mean much, but it's been a proven safe holding for a well over 100 years. So it's it's definitely something special to us.
Yeah, yeah, it's been around for thousands of years of people
Yeah.
just accepting it as monetary
Yeah,
payment too. So like, not necessarily like
longer. Yeah,
pegged to like a dollar value, but like people have always accepted gold as like this shiny, rare object as currency, essentially. So it's
and
definitely, I think, widely accepted as that store of value.
yeah, and another thing that kind of made it shine, especially like specifically PAX G, and like something that kind of helped us was just with the crash of UST and everything, and like the whole market. You've seen how a stable coin can go from holding peg to going to absolutely nothing in a very short amount of time, just based off of like community sentiment and like obviously like the founders and everything. Um, but yeah, it shows how like something like gold, even it's not something you have to worry about, especially PAX G, because it's a physically backed asset. You're not going to worry about some crash or failure, or like and there's even worries right now with USDC. There's like sanctions coming up and different things, and like blacklists, and like it's all coming up right now, and so it seems like gold is kind of shining in our eyes.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Paxos, we got a question from Pi. He asks, "Is the Paxos Trading Company audited regularly, and is that info made public of their holdings? And then, if so,
Yeah.
how often?"
Um, I think that their audits are pretty frequent. I have to think the last one I looked at was right around when we launched, but they seem to be at least annually. And I highly encourage you to check out their website. But
Yep.
they're obsessed. They use the blockchain as it was intended to track and catalog the serial numbers for the gold bar.
Yeah.
I have a Paxos gold token. Actually look up on their website what the serial number is of the ounce of gold that corresponds to your token. So they do have it audited and calculated down to both by third party audit, and it's also available to be checked live by you constantly, even faster than their audit releases. You can always
Yeah.
find out what stamped physical gold in the world you have the representation of. Let's say you have a Goldman Tax DLP pair, 1 in 1, if we were at Peg, that Tax D token can be traced to physical gold itself. This is not a US dollar tether type situation. Every single one is there and accounted for with
And
extreme accuracy.
it is also like tradable, like with a certain amount of PAX G you can actually trade it in for physical gold through the Paxos network and everything. They will actually issue you and send you the bullions. I'm pretty sure it might be a third party service, but I think it is through the Paxos, but that is a thing.
Got it. No, that's super cool to hear. I think that I don't know, that's definitely a unique system. I like it. I think
Yeah,
that's a very good answer for
they
that question.
they also have around $600 million in total like liquidity of like gold. So they're pretty
Yeah, and they
stocked up.
trade on like DEXs. There's no like a 5 or 10% buy tax, and that's how they make some sort of like it's fully, DeFi ready. It's not a tax token or something like that. It's an
Well,
excellent choice of peg in our
There,
opinion.
there is a slight like when interacting with Paxos on Ethereum, there is a super small fee that goes to back to Paxos. That is like
That
they do
part
have
of that
a
swap fee go to them. Okay, that's good to know.
yeah
Um,
yeah
we're
it's like a
talking fractions of a percent for the
yeah
record. This isn't.
it's like
I've
point
seen
zero.
some attempts at tokens and charge 10 or, 5, 10, 15, 20% to maintain some stable price. This is what the example is that it's not like that.
Yeah, theirs is like 0.01 or 0.1%. It's like you literally don't even notice it.
Got it. Yeah, interesting. Let's see, we got Paul Dutton. He asks, which tomb forks have you looked at and taken inspiration from when creating this project?
Fantastic question. We can kind of touch back up from one of the first from the quick questions when we were talking about David and Eric, like why we have appreciation for Eric specifically a little bit more is because he helped us like before launch and launch. He and LB were both there supporting us and helping us. LB did a little bit of a code review for us, and Eric was there, giving us support, saying, "Yeah, you guys got this. This is what you guys should do and things to look out for." And so, yeah, big shout out to Grape Finance from the very beginning. They've been around from the start, and then also some other protocols. Alto, nice person, was a big help to us as well. He gave us a lot of support. El Taco Finance, they're also great guys as well. We have a few cool partners.
Got it. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, actually, I'm curious to dive a little bit into those partnerships and talk about how you guys help each other out.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yes. The
Um,
first one, easiest one would be Grape Finance. They helped us out like again right at the beginning, and we've worked together, done a couple of giveaways and stuff, and we have some some collab NFTs coming out together. They're Goldman X Grape NFTs, and they're going to be really really fucking cool. They're going to be on Avalanche, and they're going to be released probably within the next 1 to 2 weeks. We've been saying that a little bit, but we've had lots of delays with our UI and developing a brand new website and stuff. So we've been trying to push that out. But yeah, Grape Finance would be one. El Taco Finance, they invested, using their treasury, invested into Goldman as a source of revenue for their NFT holders. We also have collab NFTs with them as well, Golden Tacos. There's 5 Golden Tacos. There's actually one person in the audience who has one. It's Gaza Greg. He holds a golden taco. I think it's a floor value of around like $1,000 or $2,000 for that taco. It's pretty cool. And yeah, as well as Alto Ames, we've worked together to do a couple partnerships as well, giveaways and things like that. Kind of support each other when we can. We have a few upcoming ones as well. Who am I forgetting? We've partnered with Serenity Capital. They just recently moved to Ethereum, and so they reached out to us, and so we're gonna support each other there as being the two, I guess, only protocols, Norge protocols on Ethereum. We also are
Liquid
partnered with,
capital.
yeah, I guess Liquid Capital will be a big one. Liquid Capital is one of the main ones. We're a trusted partner. We were one of the top 10 top 10 projects in the donation raise, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, we love LC and the guys over there. They're fantastic. They've been a great help. Olympus DAO, as mentioned before, they created us an Olympus Pro bonding contract for the bond gold mint token that we have. We plan on continuing to work with them and try and figure out more that we can do because we love them. They're great guys over there.
I want to give an honorable mention to Chainlink. I can't say we're partnering with them, but because we're working on integrating their systems soon, we really think highly of them as well.
Yep. Moonvault, many probably won't know about Moonvault, but Moonvault is I think it's an aggregator on BSC. But their main developer, is an extremely, extremely intelligent and competent dev, Web3, Web2. Like he is an all-around webmaster, code master. He's actually one of our contractors who's helping us develop the new website that we're working on. So yeah, he is a huge help. He's working on some other bigger things.
But
And
you can
yeah, I
tell
think
we work with partners in a lot of different things. We have collabs, that are great for the participants. You can get, great rewards or gold mint rewards, with these collab NFTs. But like Monkey said, we have development partnerships, contract partnerships like with the Olympus Pro and stuff like that. So definitely a variety of different ways. Serenity, who we mentioned, is our first friend on Ethereum. So we're looking at things we can do with them. A lot of different ways we're having fun with our partners.
Got it. Yeah, that's super awesome that you guys have so many partners and especially some pretty big names like Grape Finance and Liquid Capital. Um, we are also fellow Circle of Trusted Partners.
yep.
So that was one of the questions in chat from Allison. She asked, "What is the relationship between Cardinal House and Goldmint?" So we are both in the Circle of Trusted Partners with Liquid Capital, and that's
Yep.
kind of how we got together. I think I was it
Yeah,
that
I had
or
first seen you guys for your test tournament. I not
Yep.
to talk too much about this, but I think that was a really cool, fun way to like reach out to an expanded community. And I watched that, and I very much enjoyed the banter. We know you bonks and uh, pretty well. And James Pelton, actually, we've done a video with. We have another video coming up with James Pelton, and some of the other guys on there. We're looking forward to getting to know. But we enjoyed listening to that, and that kind of caught my attention and got me to start paying attention to Cardinal House and kind of realizing what you guys were doing with education. Then when I saw you come over into the LC server as a trusted partner, I was like, oh, cool. Like, I hope we could have some fun with these guys soon. And here we are.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely looking
Yeah,
forward to what the future has to hold.
yeah, 100%. I think, what else he's offering and, helping, kind of bring different communities together. It's going to allow, I guess, like you guys to grow the education platform. I checked that out and I love it. I think it's really cool. And, being able to work with a bunch of different protocols to help bring more DeFi and crypto education is something it's really cool. It's a fantastic idea to bring all these protocols together to know that you can feel safe and learn together. So, yeah, shout out to you guys for that. And it's happy to have you guys on as an LC partner.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to be with you guys. It's gonna be a good time.
Definitely.
But let's see, we got a couple more questions in chat. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. I don't want to go too much over an hour. But
Oh, no,
Kurt,
you're good.
Happy
all
to.
right, all right. Kurt asks, why are you guys a better choice than going out and buying a troy ounce of gold that I can keep myself?
It's actually a really good question. First, don't think I'm opposed to that. Maybe do both. I do very much like gold. There's a reason we have what we have. But what we offer is yield. The one thing about a troy ounce of gold is when it sits in your safe, the value of that gold may go up over time, and I believe it will. But every time you open your safe, you're going to see 1 ounce of troy gold. And what we bring to this system is the Goldman ecosystem using its share reward tokens is often able to offer our participants up to 1% a day yield on their holdings, on certain holdings they have in the system. There's some with lower percent, some with higher percents, depending on your risk level and what you're interested in. There's a lot of ways to participate, but what we bring to you is yield. We have the ability for you to come in to buy your 1 troy ounce worth of gold, and then after time to leave with more than that. That's what we bring to the equation is yield.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, Kurt, I think that's a good answer to your question. Let's see. I want to ask one more. Um, let's see. Zoned 2, he asked a really good question. How would this asset class be treated from a legal standpoint?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's an excellent question. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
great
one
question.
thing that's important to explain is we all live in different countries, and it's very tough to tell. Even in my country, I live in the United States. The regulations aren't crystal clear. So I encourage you to do your own research, consult with your own accountant's counsel, things that I can't give you financial advice, but I can tell you what Gold Mint is, and what it is it's a seniorage protocol. It's an algo stable. It uses math to try to achieve a price. And the price we try to achieve is the price of one PAX-G token. We are not gold. We do not hold gold. We are not physically backed by gold. Um, so it would be my understanding find us to be a little bit different than holding a pack B or a troy ounce of gold. But we all live in different places and we all might be open to different interpretations. But I would see this um, more as a utility token within our system. Like I said, every gold mint that is released to somebody who staked or participated in some way. We don't pay the price of 1 ounce of gold to have a issue. So there is a little bit of a line there where we may not fit to the description of gold that some people might be thinking at first. We are not gold. We have a mission to use math to reach the price of a PAX-G token, which is pegged to gold.
Gotcha.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's you can ask for more clarity from me on that. It's really tough to answer that, but that's my best understanding, and it's based on where I'm at, which might be different than from where other people are looking at it from.
Yeah, the regulations around that and the classifications are pretty unclear right now. So
We
I
struggle with this. I mean, we do talk to lawyers. It's very difficult to understand what the exact rules are. It's our understanding that because we are not a like a pre-sale token or some sort of we weren't purchased ahead of time and then used the investors' money in some way. We just released this code onto the internet, and it's been working pretty well so far. We think we'll probably fall in a different category. Some of the other tokens you're familiar with that didn't use those mechanisms, but it would be impossible for me to give the clear answer that someone might want on that.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting over the next couple of years to see what all comes out as far as like from a regulation standpoint, because I think that they're starting to crack down on that, at least in the U.S.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
recently.
can't wait. Make it
yeah,
clear. Let us know what the rules are. You know what I mean? I would love to see a concise set of, laws in the United States or in some of the other, countries where you guys might be from that clearly explain what is okay, what is not okay, what ways can you do things, which ways can't you do things. Just like with starting a business, what licenses and registrations are required. Can this be set up in a reasonable way that's not too burdensome? I would love to have the increased clarity. I think a lot of people are scared of the laws, but I actually think it would be easier to operate. If someone could tell me that I could release a commodity peg token as long as we were algorithmically stabilized and we made sure not to say that we were backed by gold when we aren't backed by gold, and that the tokens must be given away by the system and not in a pre-sale, and that was a law, I would follow it. So it would be nice to see it clearly defined, but we can only work on our best understanding of kind of the unclear rules at this time.
Yeah,
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 100%. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna come, but I'm definitely happy. Vu kind of taught me a little bit. I don't have as much legal knowledge, I guess, but yeah, he was like, yeah, no, we're never really gonna do a pre-sale or something like that because there's a little bit too much worry behind it. It's a lot easier for us to just do a Genesis and issue tokens for free, just kind of how like Bitcoin was, and not have to have, I guess, a lot less worry.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot of angles that you can look at it, but at the end of the day, I think I heard I forget if it was from Gary Gensler himself or somebody at the SEC. They said there's a reason why they aren't giving the clear regulation yet, and that's because once you set rules in place, then that just basically says like, hey, this is exactly how you can skirt around those rules that are in place. So
Uh,
there's two ways to it too.
that is
But
an interesting look. I
yeah,
hadn't kind of given too much thought to that. But there may be some reasons that certain institutions are fine with lack of security at this point. But I can tell you it's our intention to be legally compliant. I certainly don't want to end up in prison on KYC that uh, actually you know, have KYC team members, and some of us are even looking at doxing soon. So I can tell you, I'm certainly under the impression that it's all allowed to be in the way that we released it. Hopefully, I am.
yeah. I don't know. It does suck to be have or to have it be so unclear though. Like there's no clear direction and correct
I
way
was
to
lucky. I
operate.
spent some time uh, in Europe working with some folks that were working on some early blockchain regulation. Europe's a little bit more strict than the United States. So I actually had a chance to talk to some people like as they were drafting legislation, like on, just like where certain rules should be and certain limits and defining, something called legal personality, like what, what rights does a DAO have to act as a business in the world? Can it be sued? Can it own land? And things like that. So I was lucky enough to have some experience before I was running a protocol, just helping brainstorm with some pretty smart folks over there. And that gave me a lot of insight. And again, that's not even the country I live in, and there are no clear laws that have been fully issued on those fronts. But it did help me a little bit, uh, and gave me an appreciation for some of the stuff that's going on over there with GDPR and traditional KYC, AML laws and stuff like that. It's good to understand those things as a founder.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely interesting to learn about and stuff that's always going to be ever changing as well. But
Yeah.
a couple other questions I have, and these are a little bit more subjective, but what has been up to this point like the hardest thing that you've come across or the biggest hurdle that you've had to go over? Because it's not easy running a project.
There's
Oh,
a lot,
there's a
man.
few.
There's so many.
Maybe, yeah, maybe we can both give our own. I actually think it might be one that I alluded to earlier. Very early on, when we were setting up, we gave a promotion company some tokens to set us up some YouTube videos and stuff. and then they didn't deliver us the YouTube videos, and then they sold the tokens. About half of them the first time, and half of them the second, or it might have been one of the third times we were at Peg. But that was a pretty tough lesson. That was pretty painful. Seeing people that pretended to be friends intentionally hurt us and then not deliver their services.
Yeah, I can agree that that was definitely it. That one hurt probably the most. It was a big learning lesson right there, and something that's kind of caused us a little bit of trouble, I guess, down the line. But we've slowly worked away from it now, and I think we're free in the clear. But yeah, learned a big lesson. But again, that's again why we're happy we gave ourselves a lot more time to be able to work around and I guess learn these things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's so much to be learned. I think a lot of people come into this thinking that, oh, my prior business experience is gonna, help me be successful, or prior experiences, or whatever the case may be. But it's a totally different beast to tackle. It's interesting, and it's a big learning process, to say the least.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of speak for both me and Vu that our lives have changed quite a decent bit, becoming like full time DeFi because this is like what we do. Like we're full time Goldman. It's like this is all that we do. It's all about running the protocol and continuing to build and innovate and go through all these different hurdles. But it's a lot different than working in the real world.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last question I wanted to ask was, what do you guys do on a personal level to make yourself better every day, or to improve yourself to help translate into the business aspects of your project as well?
Good question.
That's a good question. And I'm not sure what that everyone thinks about that exactly directly. But I think for myself, and hopefully my team will back me up to say, but I think one thing I try to do is stop. Anytime we're doing anything, whether it's a new release, a good situation, a bad situation, and ask for some counter opinion. What's this going to look like from the side of someone who made a profit? What's it going to look like from the side of someone who had a loss? What are our partners going to think of this? What are I try to really look at decisions, um, from as many angles as possible, and I believe I am pretty open to constructive criticism, and I like to hear different opinions. I don't always select the one that somebody wants me to, but I do try to hear them when someone looks at something different, kind of expand my understanding, see things from more perspectives.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely kind of agree with that. It's a lot of I guess like even us, brainstorming and destroying ideas and figuring out like what's gonna work and me telling Vu like no we should do this and him being like oh I see or him telling me oh no we should do this and me being like oh I see like there's a lot of critical thinking and research I guess I do lots of research like every day into what's happening what's new what's up and coming and what are we going to be building next and innovating next and then yeah, lots of critical thinking with Vu on how is it going to work and how are we going to benefit and how it affects everything in the entire ecosystem for the project. What's good versus what's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
I like it. Yeah, it's always fun to ask those more subjective questions that really help you see the perspective of the other person. I think that's
Yeah,
super
this is the most
insightful.
I've thought in an AMA. Some of the questions, it's usually like very easy to answer, like standard questions about the protocol. I hope you guys, got to know us a little bit better. It's been cool kind of having it with this style. I like the way the flow.
Yeah, appreciate that. It's something that we're always trying to improve. Like I said, like what do you do to try to improve every day? And this is one thing that we're really putting a lot into trying to improve. Like whether that's me being a public speaker, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm an extreme introvert. I'm not a public speaker by any means. I'm not born ready for it, but it's just something that I do. And
Well, you
or
wouldn't know.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But even like the flow, or my own speaking abilities, or different things that we can include in the AMAs, like we're always looking to improve. So any suggestions from you guys or the community, always appreciated.
Oh, that's great. I think you do a great job here. It's really fun. Lots of engaging questions and really something fun and not just the same old basic because like it is kind of fun, I guess, being able to go around and talk about our project and protocol, what we do, what we're about and stuff, but at the same time, like doing it all the time gets kind of the same and boring essentially. So it's nice to mix things up and kind of have some fun and do different things, so thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that you guys thought it was fun.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah, and
yeah.
thanks to everybody in the community for all the fantastic questions. I don't think I've ever seen a AMA questions channel so absolutely loaded. So
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I think it would be a great time to start wrapping it up. And to the audience, you guys are the absolute best. Like taking time out of your day to listen to what we have to say, like that, it truly means a lot because time is valuable and there's a million other things that you could be doing with your time. But you decided to spend it listening to what we have to say. So that means a lot. That really means a lot.
that's, yeah, something I can't speak on enough is how thankful, like, and how much we like are thankful for the community. The community is really everything. So thank you to everybody for taking that time and showing up and spending time to hang out, ask questions, do everything. The community is the reason why projects succeed. If there wasn't for you, then nothing else would be running even. So yeah.
Yep. You couldn't have
Yeah,
said it
well,
better myself.
yeah, yeah, no, that's good. But thank you again, guys, for coming on. And for our Cardinal crew members, we do post AMA calls after each AMA where we talk a little bit in a more closed circle about thoughts on the project. So if you guys want to head over to the crew voice chat and go right ahead, I will be with you in just a minute. But yeah, thank you again, guys, for coming on. This was super awesome, super fun. I hope to collaborate more in the future.
Right
100%.
on. Thanks for having us. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, take care, guys.
We'll see you.